Set property. There we go, Stack Overflow. Okay, so what's happening most likely is the script is getting loaded before the DOM is there. So why is that happening?
Well, I've got here on the DOM, I've got it underneath on the HTML page. And then I've got window add listener load.
Okay, so my
which is supposed to, go ahead.
My index page looks different. And I don't know if that will make a difference or not.
Well, the index page, the HTML page they gave us didn't include the script. I put that in.
Sorry, the JavaScript index.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff I commented out.
Okay, yeah, so, go ahead, Marshall.
It's everything I'm reading, and it makes sense, is that it doesn't exist when it's trying to set it.
Okay, so Brenda, do you want to make it like mine?
Sure. Okay. So you're talking the index JavaScript page.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. And so I actually spent like an hour with Brother James last night. I feel like I sort of understand this better. How's that for control of that? Okay. So what we actually want to do is we want to comment out the first line because we don't need it. Yeah, we don't need it in this file. So you'll comment out that, and then you can have that new Quakes controller. That's good, but what you need is inside those parentheses, you need to reference your ID from the HTML page. So I think.
Oh, yes, that's why I can't find it. Okay, so
mine is just in single quotes, hashtag. So you keep the hashtag in there and then Quake list. Yeah, so you can copy that, and then on the JavaScript index page, I've got quotes and then hashtag because it's an ID, I guess. It needs the hashtag. Not exactly sure why, but I think just so that it knows, because it's not like get element by ID, but now it knows it's an ID.
Okay, I'm willing to try it.
Okay, so then the other thing is you won't use your base URL here in your index. You'll use it.
Everything that I put here, the index, I've ended up commenting out because I'm like, nope, that's not the right place to do it.
So I've got it in my Quake.javascript. So make sure it's in there, and then we'll fix one more thing in this. We'll go back. Oh yeah, yep, you got it.
There it is. It's fine.
Yeah.
So
okay. So now, on there, right underneath that constant of my controller, this is where you're gonna call. So basically, this is. I don't think you need the window. I don't need it. The window.add event listener. All you do is mycontroller.init, open close parenthesis, semicolon. So you can just copy that line.
So what makes it load and start this? And what calls this then?
Oh, see, these are excellent questions. I wish I could answer.
Is it just?
Well, I guess let's look at the init. The init just calls it.
So the JavaScript page, the HTML, this is, okay, I think I understand. Okay. When the HTML page is loaded, it will call this script file. And this right here will call this right here and trigger everything else to happen.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yep. that's true.
Okay, so let me save this.
Okay.
Save this. And let's.
So the only difference
Uh-huh.
is that it can be a timing issue.
Right.
So what you said is a true statement. The only
Right.
difference between just that line and adding the event listener load, or you could even say on load, there you can do the
Right.
old school style. That one just makes sure that the complete page, everything is loaded before that function is called. That's the only difference.
So my lines 10 through 12 shouldn't be what's making the problem then, because it
I don't
should.
think so, because that is like that extra check. Since the page is so small,
Right.
you're not going to have that issue. But if you're loading a huge script and pulling things from multiple places, and you want to make sure everything's loaded before that function is called, then you would do like on load or adding an event listener.
Right. Okay, so now I'm getting a different error. So at least we've finished with that error.
Yeah.
Cannot read property map of undefined at render quick list. Well, I haven't even started working on the render quick list.
Okay.
So that would be why, because it's not, I'm sure it's the stubbed out, whatever they gave us.
Yeah.
At Quakes view number 7, called by get Quakes by radius. Quakes view. Where is Quakes view? Oh, that would be in here.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, haven't even started building any of that.
Okay, wait. It should. Okay, so it's very close. It's almost done.
Okay.
Okay, so inside of your back tick for the return, so
There's no closing back tick.
there is. It's on 12. It's
Okay,
the way
there it
that,
is. Okay.
The way that they wrote it, though, they kind of set it on separate lines, and I can't remember why he said they did that. But you can like hit backspace and write this more on one line if you want. But I did like an open and closing list item tag.
Oh, yes, that would be good.
And then, so, yep, perfect. And then all of that stuff goes inside.
That should, okay, so all the rest goes inside that.
Uh-huh.
And I can just move it.
Yeah.
Not the back tick.
Yes, correct. Okay. So then inside of that list item, the first one, you're going to want to give it an ID so that it knows which Quake to pull when you click one. So right before that ending closing tag, not that one, but the first one,
Okay.
LI, right there. You're going to say data dash ID.
No, yeah, there you go.
Yes. Okay. And then, oh, you can.
No.
Okay.
Okay. And then, so instead of quotes, you'll do $, curly brackets. And then it's quake.id.
This is clever. Okay.
Yeah.
That data dash is awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is so. I've been doing web development now for years, and I did not know about that.
Yeah.
That is a really cool thing they added in ES6. That's awesome.
So
okay,
this will pull a different ID each time, and it will be the current one.
Exactly, for that Quake, for that specific Quake.
That's really slick.
So one other thing that you could do that I did that makes it readable is inside of those single quotes on that join, just do a backslash and an N for new line.
Right here?
Oh, sorry, 14, line 14. Inside of that.
Oh, join. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. New line. How do you do new line? I don't remember.
It's a backslash and then an N. Other way.
There it is.
Yep. Okay. So now, don't worry. You don't have to worry about the render quake for right now because that one's just one individual one.
Okay.
If you want to just do like one thing at a time.
Right. So should we go test this that we've got? Make sure our map error went away.
Yeah.
Let's save that. Nope. Oh, wait a minute. Check my sources. Where were we at? In Quake's View?
Quake's View. Oh, it didn't refresh.
It didn't refresh.
So you're on Chrome, right?
Yep.
I had a tutor show me a slick way. If you right click on that refresh button, empty cache and hard reload.
That is sweet.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Okay, so I still have an error. Cannot read property map of undefined.
Okay, so that means you have something undefined, I guess. So let's jump back over to maybe our Quakes controller, and we're going to look at the get Quakes by radius. Let's make sure that that Quake list is going to come through okay. Okay, so get Quakes by radius. Okay, so we've got setting the HTML, inner HTML, Quake list, await, get earthquakes by radius, this position, and then, oh, okay, here was a mistake. That 100, it needs to be radius.
Instead of 100.
Yeah. And you can put that all on one line. It's a little easier to read. It's just when you copy it, I can't remember what Brother James said. It's like something like, well, they put it on different lines for the HTML, but I didn't get it. Okay. This quick view, render quick list. Okay, quick list, this parent element, add event listener. I did click because I'm on a computer, but it probably is fine. Get quick details, see target. Okay, that looks good to me. Your Quake list should be being passed through now on line 55, which means that your Quake's view should be able to see that because we changed that 100 to radius.
Right, so let's go test that.
And mine takes time, but okay, still doesn't like it. All right, let's see. What other page have we not looked at? Okay, let's go over to your Quake.javascript. Oh yeah, that's okay. That's why. We got to build that function right there.
Okay.
Async. Okay, so this for me is like where the magic happens. Yeah. Okay. So this is where it says, where are you located? Oh yeah, let's pull that URL.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got our URL up top.
Right.
That we're gonna add, now we're gonna add to it. You remember in the instructions when I said, okay, your URL should look something more like this.
Right.
Where it's got the longitude, latitude, and then kilometers is 100. So this is, for me, this was the key piece that I was trying to figure out. So like you want that URL, and the only way you can get that URL is by passing in the latitude and longitude, right? Through your position,
right?
Parameter. So you're going to create a new variable name. I just have it as new URL, but you can name it whatever you want. And it's going to be equal to this .base URL. And now you're going to add to it. So plus, like space, plus, and then backticks. Okay, so now the way the URL is set up in the instructions is what comes next after that base URL is the ampersand. And then...
Okay, hang on, I'm looking at his... So this one that they gave us doesn't include the latitude and longitude?
Okay,
is
right.
Is that right?
Correct. So that's the base URL.
Okay.
But the... let me find it real quick.
So we've got start time, end time, and And it's latitude next.
Yeah. Okay. So there it is. So yeah.
Helpful if you spell it right. Latitude.
Yeah. Okay. So
Okay. Latitude.
hold on
equals,
really quick. Okay. So move that back down to line 12.
Oh, I'm on the wrong spot.
Okay. So, and yeah, yep, from there.
I looked away from the page and came back. I apologize in advance. I can tell I've got a cold or something starting, and I'm trying here.
You're good. You're good.
Okay. Latitude. And so here we need, so let me tell you what I think we need. I think we need to pass in our little $ little thing to pull in, but where is it pulling it from? It doesn't have anywhere there that it can see that it's going to pull that from.
So it's going to pull it from your position parameter. So you're going to say $ curly brackets. And then position.
Oh, we passed in position up there. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
And then you're going to say .lat, because that's where you declared it already. Like that's how we are going to pull it.
Okay.
And then you write ampersand, and then longitude. Yep. And then equals $ curly brackets position .long. Just no G. And then we got $.
Oh, we've got another one. Oh, we got what we need, the radius. Okay. And there's no, okay. $?
Yep.
We need an ampersand.
Ampersand.
And then $.
No $.
Or no, we say max radius KM.
Yes. Equals $. Open curly brackets. And then
we
it's
say radius.
Yeah.
And if we didn't pass one in, it will just plug in the 100.
Exactly.
And then we're done. That's the end of the URL.
And then you just need a semicolon right there. And then next line down, you need one more piece. Okay, so now we're going to take that new URL and we're going to get the JSON by passing in that one to the get JSON file. So we're going to take you've got on line 8, you've got this.quakes equals nothing, but we're going to now get the JSON from that. So this.quakes equals your get JSON function, and then you're going to pass in the new URL. Yeah. So those 2 lines of code is like where the magic
all work.
is.
Makes it all work. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm using, where is it getting the position passed in from?
Okay, so go back to
Quakes controller.
I want to say that's in the controller. Let's see, where do we call?
Get quakes by radius. Calls right here. Calls. Get quakes. No.
Get quakes by radius under the controller. Yeah. No. So it's a little different. Get earthquakes by radius, and then the one up above is get quakes by radius. So when it gets called there, this dot position gets passed in.
Okay. So so this, all it says is radius equals 100. So that makes it a default. And then it passes, let's see.
One line up. Yeah, right there.
And it's passing in the position.
But
how does this know about the position?
So it's calling that from lines 37 and 38, I think.
Oh, so the place calling it knows, but they didn't pass it in right here.
It didn't pass it in, but because like all of that, I think Marshall might have to, confirm this, but because it doesn't have to be passed in, but it's because it's being set inside of that controller, it can see within that controller. And so
so it's the init. that's actually calling get quakes by radius.
I'm finally here.
Hi, Scott.
Hey there. So we're trying to understand how
you get the position in 37 and 38. So
right, but it's being called from 25. 25. 24 calls the init position with all of this.
Yeah. So
And
I
then
think
25 calls get quakes by radius, but it doesn't pass in the position.
I don't think it has to pass it in. Go ahead, Marshall.
Go to the top. Can you go up to the top of the page? Oh, it's because you're making a class, so it's available to everything in the class.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I guess I was trying to say.
You declare it right there at this position in the constructor. So now you have a variable.
Oh, and it is okay.
So that's now available.
Okay, and I got a question too. This little or blah blah blah.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a default setting.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's just gonna.
If you pass in a position, it's the position. If you don't pass in a position, oh gosh.
I think so. I think it's just like the default is we're just gonna set it to 0.
The position is if you passed in a position, or if you declare a latitude and a longitude, it will do that instead. Or it could be either one. It could be a position that you passed in, or it could be something that you've declared. Anyway, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we to the point of testing this again?
I think so.
It's all saved.
Oh, we're close. Closer.
Okay, that's all it needed. Needed to reload it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so.
Do you have any errors in your console?
No, that's just the favicon. Okay, so we haven't actually built a quick list yet, but we don't have errors, so this is good.
That's interesting.
So does yours have a quake list showing?
Yeah. Yep.
Let's go see what we haven't built yet.
Okay.
Quakes view, we did work on that, but it doesn't have render quake.
Yeah, so you don't need that right now because that's just one quake. That's just how we show
details.
One of them.
Okay.
Yes, details.
Quake.js.
Okay, so that one, I just have those three items in there.
Okay, and index, we already did that. Utilities, we already did that.
Yeah, utilities should just be that.
Quakes by radius.
Okay, so yeah, that looks good to me. We just went through that. Let's see, init position should be fine. I already checked that one. And then the init initializing, it calls those two. Yeah, and then it's just your constructor up top. Okay, and then all the way up at the very top, it does show that all of those are importing. Okay. I don't know why it would be showing up. Because there's no errors. Did we see the loading? Did it ever show that it was loading?
Would that be here? That it would show that? It would be. Never saw that. That was in Quake's controller. Set loading message. I never did see a loading. List item.
Okay, so
I don't have the closing for the LI anymore. That's the problem.
it looks like it's on line 10.
Where are we at? No, for this opening, where would it go? LI data ID.
Oh, you've
No,
got
there
right
it is. There it is. Okay.
All right, let me just double check and make sure that all looks like mine. Time. List item. Backtick. Semicolon. Dot join. Okay, I don't know. I don't know that this will make a difference, but I do have on line 13. I don't have like any spaces, any new lines in between that parenthesis and dot join. I don't know.
I'm not sure that would make a difference, but we will give it a try.
If it was going to make a difference, it would have given you a syntax error on the dot join part, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so it didn't.
Okay.
I
don't know. I'm stumped. Mine.
Okay, so I am completely lost because I've been in meetings all day.
Let's start back at the beginning and show you what we're doing, and then you can help us figure out where we're off the rails.
That would be good.
Hey,
I glanced at the assignment to know that it has to do with earthquakes. So
right.
Hey, before you guys start, I've got to get. My wife is on bed rest as of yesterday for her pregnancy, so I have to go get kids and drive them to activities.
Well, we're recording, aren't we, Cassie?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I hope your wife's okay.
When is she due?
So April.
Oh wow! So this is going to be This is going to be
this is normal. The last one with Hans, she was on not complete bed rest, but light duty. But this one, we're both a little older, so.
How old are you guys?
She's 36. I'm 40. So.
Well, I had my last when I was 43, so it can be done.
Yeah, no. It's so. Anyways, there's some diabetes involved this time, and so we are taking it easy. But I've got to go run to take.
What's her name so we can pray for her?
Shannon.
We'll do that.
And it'll be little baby Jack, and we found out it's going to be a boy. So.
Oh, fun!
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you. And I'm interested to see what the issue is. On this part right here. So.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Marcia.
Okay. All right. So going back to the instructions, first a lot of this was just copy and paste, and then they'd have only given you part of it, so you have to fill it out the rest.
Right.
So a lot of this was copy and paste. So they gave us this HTML. All I added here was line 14, calling the JavaScript.
Okay.
And then the next step was the JSON function. They had us build this in utilities first, and they actually gave us this code too. So the get JSON.
Really fast. I ended up copying and pasting from, was it the hikes assignment? Because it's pretty much the same thing, but it has an await and a sync on it.
But my understanding on that is that it's like there's different methods to accomplish the same thing.
Okay.
But if I'm doing .then here instead of await and a sync, that might be part of why it's not working.
Okay. I guess I just wanted to throw it out there just because
tell me what you've got here and we can change it.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so instead of return right there, I've got try. And then open curly brackets. So the
right
fetch
after
URL
try.
can go down. You can leave the fetch and then hit enter. And then I've got a const response.
Instead of function response?
I'm trying to think. Yeah.
Did we do this with the hikes, or was it
Yeah.
with Star Wars?
Oh, maybe it's the Star Wars one. One of them. I just copied and pasted that one. So, do const response.
Right here?
Equals await. And then just leave your fetch URL there with the semicolon. And then I've got delete maybe line 5, because I've got if they're not response dot okay. And then open curly throw error response dot status text. Okay, and then else. And then right before the return, I've got a const. I've got fetch JSON, however you want to spell it. It's just a variable name. Equals await. And then response.json. And then I've got return. So on the next line, so on line 9, this will be, return fetch JSON, semicolon. And then on line 12, I do not have the word function. It's just catch error in parentheses.
Okay, I added an catch error parentheses. I added a bracket up there that we haven't closed yet.
Okay.
Yeah, so you'll need to close it just before catch.
So catch, no period before catch.
Okay, so I need to close it after this. What is this?
Curly. It should be another curly brace.
But what about this parentheses? Do I keep that or take that out?
Get rid of the parentheses.
Yeah, take it out. Now a curly bracket.
Okay. Catch error.
Actually, I think
still not happy.
Okay, you have one too many now.
Yeah, the closing curly brace that you had on line 11 was enough, I think. And then now you need to get rid of the close parenthesis semicolon there.
Okay. Get rid of the semicolon?
Yeah, no semicolon.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, that looks like what I've got. Yes. Okay, so I mean, you can try your code just to see.
Let's try the code and see if that made the difference.
And then we'll show Scott what we're doing.
Unexpected reserved word on utilities 4.
Oh.
Const response.
That's funny. Yeah, that's what I've got.
I wonder if it's a weight that it's complaining about. Let's go look at the message again really quick. Click on the link to the right of the message.
Right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're putting the blinker on the await. That's weird because I've used that before.
Yeah, and that's what mine looks like. I don't
Is
know.
it because the function's not declared async?
Yeah, I bet it is.
Ooh, good catch, Scott.
So up here on 2?
Yeah, right in between export and function.
There we go. Much better.
I saw loading.
I saw loading. Yep.
You did?
Okay. All right, we can go through it now.
Okay, so that's this bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then
that was just copied and pasted.
Right. Yeah. So Scott, this is our get JSON function. And then this is our get location function. And this line right here, I don't know how much you went and read. This navigator.geolocation, that's the geolocation API. And this is one of its methods.
Right.
Options, all of that is, they're optional parameters. And I went and looked that up. It returns, let me go see.
It passes whatever you gave it as options.
There are three things: how long it'll wait before it returns. You can say indefinitely or so long.
Right.
How often you want it to refresh. Use the cache or just refresh every time. And then there was a third thing. I don't remember what it was without looking it up. But anyway, but it can run without passing anything because they all have defaults. So you don't have to pass anything in. I don't understand why it's working without us doing a resolve and reject, but Cassie's is working without it. So my understanding from the reading I did is this is supposed to be a function. See, and I wrote it down here, but it still wasn't working.
You have an extra. No, that goes with it. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry. I thought it was an extra semicolon print brackets, but that goes with that function.
Anyway. But anyway, so this is our get the location function that we call from somewhere else to get it.
So where is get location called?
The controller.
So let me go back to the index. So this is what's called from the HTML page. It imports the Quakes controller class. You create a new instance of it, passing in the ID of the Quake list element. Okay. And then you call the function init from Quakes controller. So that's what starts the whole chain of events.
Okay.
You go to Quakes controller. Yeah, this right here. But let's start at the top. It's importing things from these other files. And then you've got your class, your constructors, this parent element. It starts with null. We're going to set it in a minute. Position could be the position you pass in, or you could set latitude and longitude. New Quakes view. And then here's where we're starting init. And I did a console log to show I'm there. Query selector this parent, that's the this parent element. Await this init position, so we're calling this function. And we're trying to go, that's when we call that function we were just looking at, get location, right here. These are the three default positions, just for my own knowledge. And then I'm doing console log, and I was thinking that this would show the latitude and the longitude, but it's actually just printing this whole string out, like it's a string. See?
Because you used quotes instead of backticks.
Oh. So this whole string should be a backtick right here.
Yeah. So yeah, backtick is the thing you use for template strings like that.
And it would be the same thing right here.
Yeah, you want to output variables that you've embedded into the string, then you need to make it a template with the backticks.
Okay, well, let's see. Okay, well, it changed that, and now it also changed the other error. We still don't have a Quake list showing. Reference error position is not defined at initial position 30. Let's see, 41.
44.
Console log error.
So what was the next?
Controller 34. That's my little position. So I'm calling it wrong because that's not actually the way that we defined it, I don't think. So.
Probably need this dot position.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this dot position, this dot.
That, I think.
I think you can leave with the chords and the latitude. I think you can leave that because it works on line 37, 38.
So just add this.
I think so.
And try that. Let's go look at the console. Cannot read property latitude of undefined on 4134.
Okay. Maybe it is lat. Maybe it is just
4134.
lat. I don't know. You can try position.lat instead of chords.
I'm just going to change that one thing. Let's go see. Nope.
So maybe it's just position.lat.
Because on line 30, you're checking this.position.lat. So
Right.
this.position.lat and this.position.longitude.
Just LON, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so too. Let's see. Yes. There we go.
You got a
Okay.
position.
I've got a actual position showing.
Great. Yeah.
Okay. And up here it's doing that because that was what they passed in as a default.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, but we still don't have a quake showing. So let's keep walking Scott through what we're doing. Okay, so initial position, initiate calls, initiate position, which is calling the, okay, so we created a location to call get location into, and I did a console log to show what that's doing.
And you're getting a number that you expect is reasonable at that point?
Right here.
Yeah, when you did the console log, did it show you numbers that you thought were reasonable?
It showed me 0 and 0, which
Well,
is
it showed
up here.
But right below that, it showed.
Yeah, because up here I haven't actually set the latitude and longitude yet. And so down here I did, and then it showed it. So,
okay.
So that's fine, I think. I should go back and show you.
Yeah, so you got a 30.2 and a negative 98.
Yeah.
So that should be accurate.
So here on 34, I hadn't set latitude and longitude yet, and here on 39, I had. So it did change, and it should have. So I think that's fine.
Okay.
So, and we're not catching any errors, so that's all working. So it called that, and then it calls this dot get quakes by radius, pass again 100, get quakes by radius, assigns a loading message, and then says quake list equals await this quakes dot get earthquakes by radius, which is, and we're passing in the position and the radius, and that is get earthquakes by radius. That's this right here, and it's inside the quake class, which has a default URL. We've given it a base URL. Okay. And an empty quakes, this dot quakes empty array to put what we pull into.
Right.
Then we say new URL, this base URL right here that doesn't have the latitude, longitude, or the radius. And now we're adding the latitude, position.lat, and longitude, position.long, and max radius kilometers is the radius. And then this dot quakes, this is our little array, equals get JSON with the new URL that we just built, and then return those quakes. We're returning the quakes to where we called it from, which is right here, to our quake list. And then render the list to HTML. This quakes view, render quakes list. We're passing in our quakes list and our parent element. Drilling down to details I haven't even looked at yet, really. So let's go look at quake list and see if there's something there.
Do you want to do a console log just to see if it even gets
to here?
List? Yeah, like will it
render quake? Should I do it inside? Render. Should I do it inside this get earthquakes by radius?
I would.
Let's do it in both.
I would do it in there just to make sure that it's getting passed.
Actually, what I would do if I were you is
Yeah.
I would move that line down below the new URL, and then I would
Be
actually
more use
output the new URL.
instead of this, because we'll know.
Mhm.
Because
And
that
then
way you can see that you've actually formatted a new URL correctly, and if you don't ever see the URL, then you know something is wrong.
And then
That's more useful. Okay.
go back to get quakes by radius. And then I would do a console log of your quake list just to see if you get one.
Have a quake list.
So you create it in line 51, but then you use it to pass into the render quake list. So maybe at line 54, do a console log of quake list just to make sure that that goes through okay.
Okay. All right, and then we're going to, let's go look at our render quake list function in Quakes view. Render quake list, we're passing in a quake list. Hang on a second. Lydia, please go close the chicken's door. Okay, go close the chickens. Sorry about that. We have to close our chickens up or they get eaten when it gets dark. Okay, so we're in render quake list. We've got our list element inner HTML. Does that look right? List element.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Pass that in. Does it need a semicolon or anything?
No, that's exactly what I have. I've got
Okay.
quake list.features.map.
Then .map quake return.
Yeah.
List item, data ID, quake properties, title with a new date, quake properties time, and list item, and join with a new line.
Yep, that's what I've got.
All right, well, let's see. We changed our so here's our URL.
Looks like it's.
Hold on, let me zoom in because my eyes are not so good.
But we added more than that for our console log.
So yeah, the one right below it is the quake list. I wanted to open up that.
Oh, okay, that's our quake list.
How many do we have in there? Open up the metadata. 2.
0. That's why it's not showing anything. I haven't had any quakes around here.
That's funny.
That is hilarious.
That can't be right though, right?
That can. Yes, it can. I live in a very stable
You
area.
also, your longitude is wrong. If you look at the URL, you see your latitude is 30 point but your longitude is only 0. So
that would be, so that's the other reason why it's not showing anything.
Right.
Let's go check, let's go fix our, well, I'm really glad we printed out the latitude and longitude, the URL. Let's go look at, where was that? Where did we set?
Put it right there. Oh yeah, you've got LONG on line 38 instead of LON.
That might do it right there. All right, let's try that again.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy if that's the issue. Just adding in a G. Longitude, you got some numbers there for longitude.
I still have 0 earthquakes.
Right,
your
but
longitude is good.
It's not surprising that you haven't had, earthquakes within 100 kilometers of yourself. I mean, that's
okay.
normal.
But also look at the start time. This is 1 month period, 2 month period from January 1st to March 2nd. And living in a stable part of the country, I mean, that's not surprising not to have any earthquakes.
Right. So I would maybe try putting in just a big old number for radius.
Yeah. There you go. So where are we passing that in? I mean, they gave it a default, but there was another spot where we were actually passing in a number. And that was, where was that?
Right there?
No, that's still the default. There was an actual spot where we actually gave it a number. Sorry, guys.
I close up bucket. I close up bucket.
Position. Thank you. You closed them up. Mm-hmm.
Threw it away.
Oh, good.
I took bucket.
So maybe to the controller.
I am ready to turn on Rotary.
Call the get earthquake by radius. Get earthquake by radius. This position radius. What's calling this?
So if you changed it at 46, line 46.
Here it is,
there.
right here. That's where it's changing it. Okay, is that big enough?
Yeah, that could be too big. It might overflow, but I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe do.
I'll just take 1 0 off.
You could even do
10,000 would be a good number.
Okay.
That's going to cover, all of the continent around you.
Loading. It's actually trying to load something.
Yeah, and it takes a while. Yay!
All right.
That's crazy that
So
you
that
don't
was
have any.
actually two mistakes. Our longitude was wrong and didn't have any earthquakes in this area.
That is crazy.
That
You don't
time
have any
period.
earthquakes. That is nuts.
Where are you located again?
I am an hour west of Austin and an hour north of San Antonio. It's the hill country.
Yeah,
But those hills are not created by volcanic activity. It's limestone. It used to be seafloor bed a long time ago,
right.
And it's been weathered into hills.
Yeah, it's exactly. It is. Texas is not earthquake country.
Well, we do have a couple of we do occasionally get some, but not around here. I don't have any fault lines around here. And they're not big earthquakes. It's not like California.
Yeah, I mean, West Texas could occasionally, but...
Well, there have been a couple up near Dallas, but it's not a big deal. It's not a huge... Okay, so...
Okay.
I never felt any when I grew up in Dallas, so...
Oh, yeah, it's not a big issue. I only know about it because I took geology classes.
Yeah.
Would it be okay if I shared my screen for this next part and maybe Scott can help with my error?
Yes, hang on a second. Are we done explaining where we were at?
I think so.
What we're trying to do. So I haven't even gotten to the stretch goals yet. Have you, Cassie? So quakes
sort of.
view. One of the stretch goals is to render details about one quake, and then kind of like we did with hikes, and then the back button and
right.
all of that. So this is our quake. Okay, yeah, I'm going to quit sharing and turn it over to you.
Okay.
And her bag of candy.
So this is where I get stuck. When I click on one single quake list, it says cannot read property filter of undefined. And my code looks just almost the same, the same as Brenda's. So it's not, I'm not showing you anything new right here. So this is where it doesn't like to filter this quakes. And I'm trying to figure out why.
That means that features is undefined.
Features is undefined.
I don't see features.
If you go look
back
at the
to
code,
features right there.
Filter comes after features. So filter is not a valid property of undefined. That means that features is undefined.
Okay, so here's what I have been playing with on like how to pull features. So when I pull this quakes, this is what happens. So we load and then come down here. Okay, so my first console log is just this quakes.
Right.
And it has a features, but I can't get into it. And I have been racking my head on how to get features.
Let me just read it really quick. Okay, go back to your code.
So I tried this
Quakes is a promise. It's not JSON yet. Where is Quakes defined?
So Quakes is up here, and then in here we put it into JSON. Yeah, so when I try like dot features, it doesn't like that.
So get Quake by ID. So have you called get earthquakes by radius yet at this point?
Yes, because this is how it generates my giant list.
Where are we passing in the ID from? Where are we calling this function from?
So that one gets over here when we say get quick details. When the event that gets targeted, we pass in the data set and the ID. And this actually does work because I did console logs on the ID. Like I can pull up the ID, no problem. It gives me a number. So the ID does get passed in properly. Right here, get quick details. So then we get the quick details. This is parent element, inner HTML, loading just the same way it was before, so that if it takes time, I guess, I don't know.
So who calls get Quake by ID? Right there?
Right here. And we pass in the ID.
So you're saying await on that, but it's not an async function.
It is.
Oh, so get Quake by ID doesn't have to be async? I think
I tried it before and it didn't make a difference, but I can definitely put it in again. You think that would make a difference?
I don't know. I'm not familiar enough with async await. I'm more used to promises, so.
From what I gather, a lot of people don't. The tutors don't. Brother James didn't. He's like, I don't work with promises a lot. Oh, okay. So both of these have data still. Even though I added an async, it doesn't change their data. I just can't pull features. So like when I say features, it doesn't like it. See, it says undefined.
Right, because features is not part of a promise. A promise is a different thing. So,
okay, so I don't really
your code. All right. So the first thing I want to see is I want you to put a console.log of this _quakes before line 14 and after line 14.
Okay. Right here it's empty.
Okay, go back to the source code. I think you put it too far away. So you put one before line 14, but I want to see one like between lines 15 and 16.
Oh, I thought you said before 14. Sorry about that.
Well, before and after. I wanted to see one before and one after.
Oh, okay.
Because I want to see what is Quakes before you call get JSON and what is Quakes after you call get JSON.
Okay.
Okay, so you had it as an array before, which makes perfect sense because you initialize it to an empty array.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're going to promise. So let's go look at your get JSON because your get JSON's doing something wrong.
Okay. That's this one right here. And this is where I told Brenda to change it, but if I should change it back, I don't know if all it is I just don't have an async function. I have an async function here, and I can change it back to a non-async function. That would take away the promise?
Let's see. So you call await fetch URL. So just without making any other changes, just add a console log response after. And let's go save that, run that. Okay. Which line was that console? Oh, there it is. There's the response. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we know you have a response object. And go back to your source code for a second.
Sure.
So you do, if not response, okay. So let's go look at okay in the console log. Okay is true. So go back to your source code. So if not okay, then you throw an error. And we don't see an error, so then you call await response.json. So add another line after this to log fetch JSON.
I guess I don't need to click on it, but here's the fetch JSON.
And it has features.
Yeah.
Okay.
100.
All right, so let's go look at the code again.
Okay.
So we know that get JSON is returning
An array.
well, an object that has an array in it.
Okay.
So now let's go back to the code that calls get JSON.
Okay, so we were kind of right in here.
Okay.
And why it doesn't like.
And then so line 16 does a console log. Is get JSON a sync?
Yes.
Yeah.
You need an await.
Right where? Right here?
Yeah, just before you call get JSON, I think.
Okay. I think that'll fix that. Okay, this is a different error. So that's good. In the promise, item is not defined. Quakes view 16. Okay, this was a question that I had for you today.
Okay.
Is item comes from the teacher solution. I went on there after working through this, trying to figure out that, I mean, I got stuck here, but I also got stuck here. And it's saying item is not defined.
Really fine.
Where,
Silly girl.
Like,
So does Quake have a property named item? Or let's go back to the console log.
okay, I don't know. I don't think so.
Expand features. So it could be that they're just using item as an alias for Quake. So try changing your parameter name from Quake to item. And on line 15.
Oh, this one right here.
Yeah, because you don't use Quake anywhere, do you?
No, I don't. And it was kind of
No.
grayed out. Okay. Oh, wow. Look at all that information. That worked. Okay. Because the item wasn't defined, I had called two
Right.
different
Yeah.
different things.
So if it's a property of the object that's passed in, you need to do object.property, or if it is the object that's passed in, then you have to do match the names. So
Okay. Okay, that's really, really cool.
So we were supposed to render one Quake, and then we need to add a back button to that.
So I'm close. I mean, I have the back button built, but I haven't added it to the quick details. This was my last question for all the work that I've done so far. And then after this, I haven't done any of the other stretch goals, but I need to append back button, but I don't think I'm appending it to the one Quake. But this is kind of where,
aren't you appending it to the parent element?
is that where I append it to? Like, I didn't know. I wasn't sure.
So render Quake, the on line 61, you're passing in the one Quake information, and then the parent element that you're attaching it to, and that over in the render Quake code, I'm sure it says append it to that.
Okay.
So yes, I think you need to append it to the Quake list. There's the list element.
Render, okay, so render Quake right here. So this element, the parent, which is the parent element. Okay, so you're saying just make this this parent element.
Right, and then it will append it after anything else that's already been appended.
Okay.
Try that.
Okay.
Scroll down. No.
I always get
Parameter 1 is not of type node. Parameter 1 is not of type node. What's parameter 1?
So I have to make the parent element into a node rather than a string of text, I think, or something like that.
No, inner HTML is just what you're having it output right there.
So when you call build back, where do you call build back button at?
So I call it, I guess I don't. I thought I did, and it would be
okay.
Right
So you'll be right there, and then you put that line 62 would go. Wouldn't that go in build back button?
You could just call build back button instead of this dot back button.
Okay.
There you go.
Whoa.
Basically, since you never called build back button and you never assigned it to a this dot back button property, it's looking and saying, this dot back button is undefined. That's not a node. I can't add undefined to this parent. But now that you're going to call the function directly, you're going to get an object out of it.
Okay. Oh, okay. So probably this. Hey.
It is.
Oh, it doesn't work.
That's okay. Let's go look at the back button code.
All right. I guess I need to pass in. Do I need to pass in some Quake information to re-render it, or like to basically call?
When you call,
It's basically the radius is never. So when you call build back button on line 65, it doesn't have a radius to pass on to get quakes by radius on line 68. So if you want build back button to call get quakes by radius with a specific radius, then you need to pass the radius into build back button.
Yeah, I totally do. I see that now. And I need to pass it in through here.
Right, which means now you need to pass it into there.
Which means get quick details needs to also be passed in from here. Right? Did I get it everywhere?
I think so.
Wow.
Turn off with me.
That's really cool. Okay, so read properties of undefined. Why does it not give me an error the first time, but it does the second?
The second time you're not passing the same thing.
Okay.
did it go back to render Quake? Is render Quake when you're rendering just one Quake?
Yeah, it is. Should be going up here.
Should be going up to Quake's view.
So I call get quakes by radius. This gets earthquakes by radius. Render quake list. I guess I don't see the connection on why it's. Where are you? Which one? Quake's view. And it's the quakes render quake properties. So it didn't like this the second time around.
So I would probably add a like console log Quake or something like that.
You want me to do console log quake properties?
Or Quake dot properties.
Oh,
No, Quake properties, yeah.
Well, you need to do it before line 12 before line 12, because line 12 is throwing the exception. So you won't even get to that line to do any debug output. So I would do.
But you don't want to say Quake properties then, because you haven't defined that yet.
Yeah.
Quake. So you refresh, you'll get a bunch of logging of quakes, I would think. I'm surprised you did not. Okay, so click one.
I clicked one. This is all.
Okay. Now click back. So undefined. Okay, it feels to me like you're never calling that function the first time.
So the first time around, are you saying I'm not calling this one the first time around?
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, so I'm not, because I don't want to render one quake until I clicked on it.
So something is calling render quake a second time. So let's go look at the debug output.
Now I watch the movie.
Okay.
Now I can watch Bubby.
So Quake's controller got
on.
Quake detail, line 61. Click on that.
I'll tell you about how strong.
That just gets called when I click on one earthquake.
Okay, so and you call that inside of the add event listener on
We
line
can make that, Shepherd.
2.
I love him.
So underquake.
Line 52 is where you call get Quake details.
Yeah.
I love him.
So
Let's open the box.
I wonder if this could be a similar problem to what we've seen in the past where so here let's try this. Go back to your source.
The controller.
Yeah. So instead of calling add event listener on line 52, comment that line out.
Okay.
Just that one line.
Well, it's all one
No,
line. It's just not. It's on two. It's wrapped.
I know. Believe me, just line 52 is all you need.
Okay.
Now add another blank line after that because we're just going to replace line 52. So, okay, backspace. Say this dot parent element dot on click.
With this.
Nope, just on click.
Okay.
Equals E arrow.
Scissors. Hey, Mom.
Open curly brace.
Kind. Wait, it's out.
Your curly brace or parenthesis.
That's a curly brace, but you don't need both of them to
Yeah.
delete the end one.
Okay.
And then you probably can get rid of the extra parenthesis there at the end. So now instead of adding a yet another add event listener
Mm-hmm.
every time you go through, we'll just replace the one event listener every time. So I think what's happening is that when you click it and you go back, then you get another, you get a phantom calling of a now out of scope function basically. So I'm guessing. So let's try this.
Okay.
Nope, still.
I render the list though, so I'm like, does it really matter that I can't? That I have that error? I don't know.
Yeah, but we have to get the back button working for the stretch goal to count.
Yeah.
I mean, it works because you get back to the list,
Right.
but it's doing something extra. So here's what I would do at this point then. Obviously, I was mistaken about that thing, but let's go back to the source code. Actually, let's go back to the browser.
Okay.
And open so let's just set a breakpoint on get Quake data.
Okay. Get quick details right here.
No. The
Okay,
actual
sorry.
function. It's like
Well-
line 59.
Okay, I run it again.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think
All right. So this one should be good. So just go ahead and run the
Mom,
play button.
cut easy.
I'm sorry. What did you say, Scott?
The play button that's just to the left of what you're pointing at.
Okay.
There we go. Okay. So now when you click
Hey, Mom, watch this.
back, okay, that function was called again. And we're looking at
Turn your hand the other way so your thumb is up.
Oh,
I guess
element on click.
I'm wondering why that was called again.
Oh, I have a good idea. Okay, let's go back to your source code now.
Okay.
Get Quake details. Let's add a line to like line 58. So like after 58. This dot parent element dot on click equals null.
Okay.
Try that.
All right. Do you want me to leave the breakpoint set?
You can take the breakpoint out, I think.
Okay. Whoa. That was it.
So the null took off what the onClick was doing.
Right, because everything's being done in the parent element.
Mm-hmm.
When that click handler was there, it doesn't care what you clicked on. It just says, I need to go do something when you clicked on me.
Right.
And clicking on the button was enough to get that to happen as well. So by removing the click handler when we've gone to the button, and then we'll end up reinstating the click handler when we go back to get quakes by radius.
Okay.
Mm.
So yes, that totally makes sense.
You're a wizard. Like a true
Yes.
wizard.
So
Just waited for 34 years and you can be a wizard too.
so core requirements style it, which
That's
whatever.
fine.
Settings, specify the radius.
We would like to include in the query for earthquakes, make it so. So I feel like we already specified it. Is that not true?
Well, does that mean that you're supposed to give like a text input field where the user could specify the radius?
Wow, that feels like a lot.
We did the back button. I do not know what he means by a routing system.
I don't either. I was trying to understand.
And I went and looked at that link, and that's from something that we didn't do. They must have changed the course.
Yeah. My opinion is that all we have to answer is, did we do at least one stretch?
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that we. I mean, I think that we have all demonstrated in the past that we're more than capable of adding an
Text input field and
allow them to type in a radius, and that we would use that radius instead of the hard-coded radius.
right.
So,
I think the most important thing that I needed to learn from this assignment was how to go get the individual latitude and longitude
right.
and use it to change the URL, because I'm actually going to have to do that in my app. And
Right.
so I feel like I've learned well, and just the structure of their model view controller they're doing. We haven't really done much of this semester, and so it was nice to see that too.
So the routing I'm not exactly sure what it is because I haven't gone and even tried to look at it. But I mean, I know I've used some libraries before that you know, do routing. Basically, routing is where you define URLs that can do different things, and I don't see how that fits on the um, on a single page application like this. So routing.js, I'm looking at it really quick in the teacher's solution.
I'm perfectly happy with saying we did some of the stretch goals, which is what the quiz question asks. I'm perfectly happy with doing that.
Yeah, for sure. I am too. I'm also a little bit like, dang, I don't know if I could. I mean, Scott, you said we've all demonstrated we can put an input and have that be in there.
Well, you could, and do you remember the Note It app that I shared a couple weeks back?
Yes.
That had a text input field. You could just go look at that code and say, oh yeah, that's how you do it.
Okay.
So
I mean, yeah, that'd be cool.
I have a question about my project that we don't have to answer tonight.
I'm here and I'm done with work for the day, so.
Let me share my screen.
No, you must describe it verbally.
Oh, please no.
Okay. As soon as you did, I would say, can I see the screen?
Yes. It's not that one.
Sorry if you hear
Okay,
me
so
chocolate candy over here.
So I do need to split. I've at the moment have everything still all in one JavaScript page, and I need to be splitting it all out. So I've got my clothes list that I started with my individual clothing items.
Right.
And then I decided, because I do need to have a picture of the whole outfit, which is kind of part of the point of the application, to show the child all of what it looks like put together, and then here are the individual pieces that you need. So I do need to have that. I decided I would put that in a separate array of objects so that each one of these is a complete outfit: hot weather, mild weather, whatever. But then when I'm trying to figure out the logic of how I'm going to pull these, I'm going around in circles. How do I pull from two different arrays and build? And so what I'm thinking is I'm going to be pulling the weather data and use whatever conditional statement to say, go find the items that match. And I can figure that out, but how do I pull from two different arrays? Do I need to just put these back all into one array? Does that make sense? Because instead of having a separate outfit list, I could just put all of these inside this array, and then I'm just pulling from one array. But I'm feeling like I need to build an array of the items that I need to send to my render the view thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So
filter would do that, would go look through the array and build a new array that I can send to my render view, right?
yes. I think so. So the point of this is that, if I remember your wireframe for your screen, is that they're going to drag an article of clothing and drop it on a stick figure person.
Potentially that would be like in a stretch goal. It could just be static and show the picture of the stick person fully dressed and show off to the side the individual articles of clothing.
So, but are you trying to get like, let's say, I don't know everything that's in your clothes list. So you have two different shirts. You have a short sleeve shirt and a long sleeve shirt.
Right.
And then you've got short pants and long pants.
Right.
So if we just look at those two combination, or those two items there,
right,
then that suddenly gives you 4 different images that you might need to display
Right.
person. You're going to have long shirt, long pants, or, long sleeves, long pants, short sleeves, long pants, long sleeves, short pants, which I see at BYU all the time. So,
Right.
and then short sleeves, short pants.
Right.
So if you wanted to do something like that, you could, but then you quickly run into this exponential growth of
Right.
complete outfits that you need to be able to display.
Right.
And so you wind up having to pick them out of the list based on all the clothes that are in it. It would be better, I would think, if you had a pre-formatted little graphic. So like, if they're wearing a jacket over a shirt, for example, you may not show the shirt at all. You'll only show the jacket. If they're wearing a shirt without a jacket, then you'll just show the shirt. And so each item of clothing, I would think at that point, you would probably want to have a coordinate of where it's going to be drawn, and then just draw. So you know that they've picked short sleeve shirt, short pants, and so you go find the short sleeve shirt, and in that item it says, okay, here's the image to draw, and then you just draw it on top of. So you basically wind up with one image of each of the things that can be drawn on top of the figure of the person.
So what you're saying is, instead of having an image of the whole outfit, I would just say, here are the clothing items that we're pulling. Go draw it. Go also draw it over there on the stick figure.
Yeah, and to that end, I would have. I mean, it could be a stick figure. It could be, it could be
It could be no figure at all, and it's just an empty outfit of clothes.
Right. I mean, so you could just say, it's like, okay, shirts need to appear here, jackets need to. So if you look at the stick figure or the whatever area where you're going to draw the complete ensemble, then you'll say, okay, shirts. All of my shirts take up, say 100 pixels wide and 300 pixels tall, or whatever it is. You would just make all of the shirts be uniform sized so that you could always draw them in the correct location. And so each item of clothing would essentially have a size, so like the width and the height of the image, and the X and the Y coordinate where you want to draw it. And then when something is picked, then you just draw it on that part of the screen.
So you're saying I don't actually even need this outfit list at all. I'm going to instead say, these are the clothing items that are picked for this set of weather, and not only populate on the right side with those images, but go draw it on the left side in the correct spot.
I think that's probably what I would do. I mean,
yeah,
the outfit list makes sense to me from the perspective of, so there's two ways I could see your app working. One is it makes a query of the weather service, determines what the conditions are, and then it shows you, it's 118 degrees outside. You should wear nothing. Okay, you should wear a short sleeve shirt and shorts. And then it just shows a picture of somebody wearing a short sleeve shirt and shorts.
right.
Or it's negative 23 degrees outside. So it's like, you must dress like an Eskimo. And so you would draw a coat, you would draw, snow pants, you draw whatever you're going to draw. And so that's one way I could see it working. Is it's not as much about the user picking the outfit that they want.
Right.
It's just a matter of, hey, this is what it's like outside, and this would be the right way to dress.
This is the appropriate outfit. So what you're saying is perhaps I'm overthinking this to be showing individual clothing items. I could just show the entire outfit.
Well, and so that leads me to the second way that you could do it, which is you could show the individual clothing items, and you could have filtered it based on what, what's appropriate. So it's like a short sleeve shirt would not be appropriate in 23-degree below zero weather.
Right.
But maybe a short sleeve shirt would be okay if you were wearing a big thick Eskimo jacket over the top of it. So, that it can become, difficult to deal with, but it just depends on what you're trying to do. I mean,
right.
As just a tool to let you know what is appropriate wear for the current conditions, then you can go with the first way. As a tool for helping the child learn how to dress for appropriate conditions, then it's useful to actually show them all of the pieces of clothing, let them pick what they want, and when they pick wrong, you buzz at them and say, it's too cold for that, for those shorts, and go with that. So I think you could take it multiple different ways and still be within your planned project. It's just a matter of what you want to do. But as far as the outfit list goes, either you just want to have predefined outfits for all types of weather, or you want to have the individual items of clothing, and then you can just draw an outfit from those component parts. It's like a hat that fits on the head would go at the top. A shirt or a jacket or a coat would go in the middle. Your shorts would go at the bottom. Shoes or galoshes would go at the very, very bottom. So.
Well, and actually, Canvas will let you draw from an image. And I think, what was the name of the other thing that we were looking at? I think they both do. So once I get my images of my clothing items, I can just say, draw this image here for the complete outfit.
Yep. And so you can use the same image for both.
Right, exactly.
I've got to stop recording, and
okay.
I guess you guys should stay. I got to go pick up kids from soccer.
Well, thank you, Cassie. Can you share your code? Doesn't
Absolutely.
have to be a second.